What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. It is Wednesday, March 29th, 2023, year of our Lord. Life is good. Life is absolutely awesome. Demetrius Shaw says, Anton, if I found out you were holding back, there's going to be some furniture moving up in his mug. Holding back what? What are y'all talking about? Let me see what's going on in the chat so I can see what's happening with my friends and family up here in the Millionaire Morning Show and the Bag Chasers. Sarah H. What's going on, Sarah? Chelsea's live line is in the building. Says, good morning, Anton and family. Alicia Burrows. What's happening, baby girl? I love you. Crown, I appreciate you for rocking with me. My dog, Kojak, is in the building. Big Sugg says, good morning, peeps. Lauren Love says, good morning, Bag Chasers and Anton. Marty Speed, hello, Bag Chasers. I'm looking forward to today. Mike That Dude says, morning, everyone. Treese Westmoreland. Gonzalez, what's happening? Larry Walker, my guy. Mel Duke, Trapping After Dark. I like that name. This bald guy is annoying. Why is he in my feed? Well, why are you here at the Bag Chasers trying to understand what it is that we doing? Get the fuck up out of here. Class E Beats, what's happening? Forever, I love you. Kingdom Minded, I said you, I rock out with you. Azriel, Brandon Oliphant. Let me see who else. More money, more problems. Never. Alvin S. Let's see who else we got that I haven't mentioned. Van Roo says, yeah, right on time to be here from the start. Good morning, everyone. Shout out to everybody that be here on time. Shout out to my baby girl. Let me give a shout out to my baby girl, Bella. What up, Bella? Bella's in the building with the good morning. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody that's in the building that's on time. Shout out to my dog, Quentin. I see Rita is up in here. What up, Rita Ree? She at the crib, living the good life. Waking up with no alarm every day must be nice. Must be nice. So I got a full show for y'all this morning. I'm looking forward to being able to kick it with y'all. Steve Elmorland says, "Good morning, Anton. You need to hook up with Doggy Diamonds. He's the real deal like you." I don't really link up with people that often. I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, so let me just start it off, right? Before we get started, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Shout out to my bag chasers. Shout out to everybody that's here on time. You know how y'all Africans and y'all black people and y'all white people like to do. Y'all be on black people time. Shout out to y'all. Alicia Burrows says, "I'm going to love you as soon as I get out of my feelings about what you said about NYC." What did I say about NYC? What did I say about NYC? I don't know what I said about NYC. Anyways, let's go ahead and get rocking. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I will be reading super chats throughout the show. Let me also give a couple of acknowledgement to some cash apps that came in before the show. Let me just shout y'all out really quickly because y'all be holding the brother down. Shout out to Jalen Hawkins, says, "Good morning. Good morning for the bag." Mike, that dude, sent the 8 ball. What up, though, Mike? Lewis Ball says, "Great work with the podcast." I appreciate you, Lewis. D. Brun says, respectfully submitted. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. And then Jasmine. Shout out to Jasmine. I appreciate you for the 20 ball. So shout out to everybody with the cash apps, the super chats that show love. I'll never ask. So anything that you give, I do acknowledge it because it's extra and you guys hold me down. Gigi buys Florida. What up, Gigi? Gigi says, "Good morning, Anton. Please check your DM on IG. This news channel did it again." Do we need to bring somebody to the front of the congregation, Gigi? Let me see what's happening out here. GG, another news channel is finessing y'all, seeing what's happening out here in these streets. I need to get better with my Instagram stuff. I got all kind of blue checks in my DMs. Shout out to the ladies that's in my DMs as blue checks. Gigi, I'm going to have to check you out, and we're going to have to do a recap on this tomorrow. So I'm going to address it and bring them to the front of the congregation. I got all kind of blue checks. Shout out to the ladies with the blue checks that's up in my DMs. Hey, listen. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First and foremost, again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I am gonna find your Instagram thing. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, and make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. So shout out to all of the ladies with the blue checks in my DMs. I ain't even realize it. I had to go to all requests, and then you know how I be at top requests. I don't know how y'all got y'all Instagram set up. Mine been set up like this for forever, but mine's been, I go to top requests and I just see all kind of beautiful ladies up in the DM sending nice messages and things like that. Hey, fellas, fellas, listen, y'all. I feel like this almost be divine because I don't even know what I'm going to talk about in the beginning of the morning. Super, I did hear that about Beyonce. Y'all got to stop sending me text messages in the middle of the night. All right? Y'all got to stop sending me. Now, thankfully, my text messages are on do not disturb or it's in sleep mode. My phone's be in sleep mode up until I think like 5 a.m. or something like that. And so I get up. I see you, Rita. So I get up at like 4:30 in the morning. My phone be in sleep mode, but then I'll be waking up and I'll be seeing a bunch of these DMs and text messages from a lot of y'all that didn't receive coaching calls. So you save my number in your phone because you got my real phone number now. And then y'all be sending me these text messages and stuff like that in the middle of the night. And so I wake up and I see it. And what is up with the majority of y'all being heartbroken? What is going on with this heartbreak? So much so that I was inspired to even name this live stream Heartbreak today. Let me give you a little bit of insight, okay? Listen. Love, I know y'all think that it's an emotion, but it's an action word. So take my advice, with a grain of salt because I am a man that has been successfully married for almost the past 2 decades, okay? And I'm speaking from the perspective of a person that knows what a successful relationship looks like, that knows what being successfully married looks like. So I'm not coming to you based off of a bunch of talking points on the internet. I'm not coming to you based off of a lot of these advice from the different people that want to give you or get into the relationship space on YouTube. I'm coming to you from a person that talked to people in real life, see how things play out in real life, that has gotten advice from my father on how it is that I'm supposed to operate, and my uncles and all of the strong men that has played roles in my life. I come from a different space. And what y'all have to understand, gentlemen, and ladies, you can take this into, if the shoe fit wear it. What you guys have to understand is that love is not a feeling. I know y'all think it's a feeling the first time that you see somebody and she give you some good sex, or she give you some good mouth, or she look beautiful when y'all have a good conversation, and y'all think, oh yeah, we vibing, we connecting with each other. And then the first thing that you want to say, and the first thing that solidifies your relationship is, I love them. I love you. That's the first thing that y'all want to say. And then y'all be sending me text messages a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year from now, 2 years from now, and you be heartbroken. Some of y'all are heartbroken because your girl broke up with you, or you caught your girl cheating, or she doing something that you found something in her phone, or anything. It don't matter. Or y'all could just separate. It ain't even got to be nothing necessarily that she did wrong. But you thought that it was more than what it was, and you used your feelings and your emotions, and you bought in too hard. You have to understand that love is an action word. It's not a feeling. The things that you feel need to be controlled, and it's nothing wrong with having emotions. But what you have to understand is that you can't act on your emotions. I'm an incredibly passionate person. When I speak on certain subjects, I get riled up and all of that other type of stuff. But the thing that I don't do is I never lean into my emotions in order to make the decisions that's going to affect me for the rest of my life. And so what y'all have to understand is female nature. And what female nature is, and I've seen this countless times, I've seen it with men that pass away. This is just the absolute positive truth. What female nature is monkey branching. And it's not nothing that she's doing anything wrong. It's just the nature of who she is. And the way that you know that it's not about love, and the whole love as an emotion thing is not really relevant and it's not real, it's just something that y'all made as a part of y'all mind, is because the minute that y'all break up, I guarantee you, as soon as somebody else comes into her life, happenstance, just so happen to be a friend that she knows, somebody hit her in the DMs and then they linked up, she done got a new boyfriend, or she about to get married again, she don't love that nigga either. She don't love him. She never loved you. That's not what it is. She loves what you represent to her in that moment. And that's why it's so easy for her to move on into another space, or for her to easily be able to love again, or to love a new dude, depending on what role he feels in her life at that particular time. Now, can that role extend into the end of their life? Absolutely, as long as the transactional interaction between them is the way that it is. But the reality is that all relationships are transactional, which is why when you don't get sex in your relationship, you're ready to walk away, because you understand that this is a major part of what I need in order to continue to be here. And you know that it's somebody else that's willing to give it to you. And so you unwilling to still deal with the foolishness, regardless of how it is that they feel about you. They love you. They just won't give you no sex. And so you like, yo, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. It's only so much of this I can take. All relationships are transactional. And when you understand that the minute that you die, if you die tomorrow, hear me out. Y'all don't like to have this real talk. I'm going to give it to you exactly what it is. If you die tomorrow, next year, next month, 6 months from now, she will be telling another man, regardless of how long y'all were together, that she loves him. She will be telling another man, y'all could have been together for the last 3 decades, There is another man that she will be telling she loves them. More importantly, there is another man that will be blowing her back out. He will be doing everything that you thought that was sacred to you that she could never do to anybody else. Here's the thing about it. His barrier to entry is going to be lower than yours. His barrier to entry is going to be lower than yours. I'll do you one better. It's a strong possibility that somebody else already got her heart and she probably settled for you, but she still tell you she love you. And so when you finally find out that love is an action word, action meaning that what she tells you versus what she shows you is two different things, that she's unwilling to be obedient to you. Ooh, that's going to hurt these women's heart. She's unwilling to be obedient to me because if you love me, you'll do what I told you to do. But you won't do what I told you to do because I told you to do it. You'll do what I told you to do because you actually want to do the thing that's in your best interest. It's an action word. It's something that they do. And so the minute that they push back on the thing that's best for them, because they still want to leave the door open to the possibility of what if, or they want to use the emotion aspect of it and not to make somebody feel bad, remember who you are. Remember who you are. Stop texting me in the middle of the night. Stop DMing me in the middle of the night. Stop asking me how I feel or how I can get my chick back. She ain't yours. She's all of ours. It's just your turn, big dog. She for everybody. And it's not that I want her or he want her, but he could get her if he put enough effort into it, depending on the time frame and the convenience of whether or not you in the picture at that particular time, or you may even be in the picture. She's not yours. Why do you think that there's a difference between, listen, there's three tiers in his lifetime when it comes to humans. There's men, wives, and hoes. Men, wives, and hoes. And the problem is that everything is convoluted and everybody is combining, even to the point to where men are starting to become women, hoes. There's men, wives, and hoes. And when everybody is not playing a role and we see what's happening out here in these streets and that everybody is confusing everything and you turning hoes into housewives and men are becoming women and then wives want to be for the streets and they don't really understand the privilege that comes along with being a wife and all of this other type of stuff, everything gets convoluted. And the minute that you are no longer emotionally available, physically available, you disappear long enough, she starts to become friends with somebody else, it is going to be a shit show. I guarantee you, you are not special. Relationships are transactional, and the way that she shows that she loves you is through her actions, not how she feels, not what she told you, not what it is that she said, that she felt, and all of that. And the minute that you detach yourself emotionally from how you feel is the minute that you start making better decisions, not only to vet the women that's in your life, but to vet the people in your life, not get fired from your job because you're emotional, your boss pissed you off, and so I can't believe they paying more. Instead of you starting to lean into your emotions, you calm down, you sleep on that shit, you make a strong, smart decision on what the 10-year view of your life is supposed to be. It'll even help you to not stay loyal to the positions and the jobs that you've been at for longer than you were supposed to, making less money than you were supposed to over the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, because you're not emotionally attached to the job anymore. You're emotionally attached to your success, your growth. You're able to detach and say, you know what? I've been here for long enough. I love you guys all in this space. I want to maintain relationships. It's not personal. I got to go to this next position because they paying me double of what I've been paying here. Because I guarantee you, as we'll see in this later in the show, Disney don't give a fuck about how long these people has been in there. They letting go 7,000 people starting the day. They letting go 7,000 people by the summer. And they don't care about what it is that you think. The love that they had for you came along with your paycheck. That was the love that they showed you. They paid you for your services. It ain't about who your coworkers is or how long you've been here or how well you decorated your cubicle. Love is an action word. If you love me, pay me, my nigga. If you love me, pay me, my homie. If you love me, raise my daughter the way that she's supposed to be raised. If you love me, don't be making me look bad in the streets, because you understand that if you make me look bad, you make you look bad. You fuck up the bag. We fuck up all of the resources. We can't be out here doing what we ain't supposed to do, because it's money to go and get, and it's a legacy to go and build, and it's lives to go affect. Love is me doing what I'm supposed to do, understanding that I can't be out here fucking around and fucking up the bag, because there's other people that I have to go and save and that I have to be an example for. That's me loving you. It's not about how I feel about you. It's about what I do for you. It's about what I do to myself, understanding that whatever happens to me happens to you. Love is making sure that I don't fuck up a bag, because there's a lot of people that depend on me financially, that there's a lot of people that work for me. It ain't about how I feel about you. It ain't about how pretty you are. It ain't about your titties. It ain't about sex. It ain't about none of that shit. It's how am I going to make sure that you feed your family tomorrow? Love is an action word. Stop thinking that relationships are anything other than transactional, because the minute that you start switching up, or the minute that things change, guess what happens? Love is not going to keep you there. Love will not keep you at your job after they don't have any more money to pay you, no matter how much you love your coworkers. Love is not going to keep these people from being homeless and the lights from being turned on. That's why men are more easily able to detach and say that I loved you because I paid the light bill. I loved you because I made sure that the heat was turned on. I loved you because I went and worked overtime. You think that love, and this is for the ladies right here, she thought that love was how it is that you said something and whether or not you checked on her for the day. No, that's bullshit. That's the superficial bullshit. And that's why we so out of our purpose, is because technology and society has advanced us to the point to where now we starting to lean into our feelings, and we don't have enough time on our hands to take care of the business. We've gotten comfortable. See, love used to be you had a purpose in this household, and without you, that part don't run. And without me, this part don't run. So we got to work together in order to make this thing work, especially if we want to have children, especially if we want to build a legacy, especially if we want to send our kids to college. Love is making sure that my daughter don't have student loan debt when she go to college, when she get old enough. That's love. I love you because I chastise you. I want you to do better, and so I'm going to do the thing that may not make me feel good right now, but it's going to be the thing that's in your best interest long term for the future. That's love. That's the love that Jesus showed the world. It's the reason why he had to suffer. He suffered for and died for your sins. He let the people that then didn't even like him crucify him in order to give them life. He did the thing that was in their best interest despite how they felt about him. That's love. It's an action word. It's not the thing that you feel. It's not the thing you tell somebody when they busting you down. That's not love. That's not love. Stop being so easily heartbroken. Stop being so focused on how she make you feel. Stop picking your wife based off of the superficial things that will not last in a relationship. Stop being so emotional when she chooses that other dude over you. I tell you what, let her go. She's not yours. She's not mine. She's all of ours combined, and it's just your turn. She don't love you. She loves what you represent in her life at that particular time. Remember that. Remember that. Turn off that thing that make you feel a certain type of way every time somebody do something. That's why y'all motherfuckers can't actually catch the wave and improve y'all life, because you so worried about how somebody says something. That's what's wrong with the black community. I don't like it the way they said it. They disrespected my ancestors. I don't like it. You're not on code. Man, fuck your code. Are we getting this money or what? Because you work with that white man every day that makes sure that your paycheck is in your pocket. You work with your coworker and they call you the hard ER after the NIGG word when they go home, and you still do your job with that motherfucker. You know why? Because love is getting this money. Is getting this money. You work with people every fucking day that don't give a fuck about you, but you sitting here talking about your feelings. Man, I don't give a fuck about them, and they don't give a fuck about me. And we might come to actually understand and agree on some things with each other, but we don't got to be friends. I just got to make sure that you ain't doing nothing to put me in jail. I got to make sure that you got enough good character to where you ain't out here making us look bad. To where what you doing impedes on what it is that I got going on. And then at that point, we need to go in two different directions, because guess what? You were a season. The same way that she looked at you as a season. You are a leapfrog. You are a trampoline. You are a person that served a purpose in her life at the time, and that's why she told you that she loved you. She don't even know what love is. She not yours. She all of ours. It's just your turn, big dog. It's just your turn. Listen. I know you heartbroken. I know that things are difficult for you. I know that you thought that she loved you, and so you gave her your all and you gave her your heart. And leave it at the door. Remember who you are. It's not about who she is, it's about who you are. You are a soldier. You are a king. You are a monster. You are a person that is willing to do anything in order to make sure that you fulfill your destiny on this earth and let nothing and no one stand in your way. Nothing. It's only one of you. It's 1,000 hers. It's only one of you. I can get you another her tomorrow. And she gonna make you feel better about how you feel about yourself right now. We can wash that away. Throw that emotion out of that shit and work. Take care of your business. Go and get on your grind. Don't lose no money over her. Don't lose no sleep over her. Don't lose an emotion over her. Don't stress yourself out. Don't start getting high blood pressure. Don't argue with her. Do not argue with this woman. Don't go back and forth with her. Don't try to convince her of something. If she can't see it, let her be for whoever it is that needs to be monkey branched off of next. You got another level that you need to get to, big dog. Leave that shit at the door. Check your fucking emotions when you come over here into my DMs and when you start sending me text messages at night. Check that shit at the door. We don't want to see that shit. Gird up. One time, cool. Next time, don't keep texting me, big dog. All right? All right, let's get to it. Let me get to the super chats. Let me get to some of these super chats before we get started into the show, because I'm going to show you just how much people love you today. I'm going to show you just how much people love you today, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be some gnashing and gnawing at the teeth. Gigi, I see you, big baby girl. I'm definitely going to check your DMs today. So, I know Peter. I know that they're going to simp out. We not worried about that. We not trying to reach everybody. We trying to reach the people that need to be reached. Somebody said, Anton, what do you think about Tyrese? Send Tyrese's thing to me because I'm not sure what Tyrese said. Send it to me and I'll check it out and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Lenny Deadstock is in the building with the 2-ball. Lenny, shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Patrick Hill says, if she's not for the streets, she's for the universe. Dog, she all of ours. She all of ours, bro. I would guarantee you that the overwhelming, I would say 98, 99% of y'all in y'all lifetime at some point, whether you know it or not, y'all have been cheated on. It's a fact. Get over it. L Modern Trade says, why the hell are they messaging you about that? Because some people tap into me for relationship advice. Some people type in for me for life coaching in general. Let me tell you why. When I coach people or when I have a conversation with people online, usually what happens is I'm able to deep dive and mine out. I need to understand you first. I don't believe that there's a one-size-fits-all solution to what success looks like. So sometimes, when I'm asking questions or when they're giving me some background information as to where they stand or who they are or whatever like that, the conversation may go into their relationship. It may go into the problems that they're having in their life, because it could be a lot of different things that's preventing you from getting to whatever it is that you're supposed to do, your purpose. Some people don't move to certain places because I got kids over here, or some people go over to a different state because they was chasing a girl and they fucked up their life over here. And so they moved over into her place 2 states over, and now she kicking them out their house. It's a lot of different situations that people go through, right? And so when we having these conversations and when I learn to pour into people or I learn about people, what happens is we build a relationship because I better understand your situation. And so if y'all ever get a life coach, or if y'all ever get somebody that's giving you advice and they only giving you advice based off of this one size fits all narrative and they're not trying to understand you, if the first phone call that we have is not a session in which we build to where I ask you more questions so that I can better figure out where you are in your life before I start pouring into you, you got the wrong coach, because they don't give a fuck about you. They just extracting money from you. You need to find somebody that actually cares about what it is that you're trying to do, understand where you're trying to go, where you came from, your current circumstances in life, and then they can mine out what the solution is. But if they can't figure out that place as to why you got there or why you think the way you think and then how to reverse engineer where you're going, you got the wrong person. Email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com and we're going to get you set up and we're going to get you taken care of. Shout out to Levi Apparel. Also says, words mean a lot. Billionaire big bags. Blessings and success to you, my brother. The scripture says, whatever you bless my people with, I'll bless you. Real talk. Sabrina will tell you, I do a deep dive on the first call, maybe even a second call. So, real talk. Social Sis Media says she is certified life coach. Facts. I really do this. I really do this in real life. When y'all talk to me on the phone, you're going to find out. Anton is really passionate about my situation. I'll be more passionate about y'all than y'all be passionate about yourself. All right, let's deep dive into this. Let's get into the show. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Also, make sure that you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I have an official location. I'm still struggling with where I think I should go versus where I think I'm going to go. I have official location of the next Patreon meetup. I will be posting details of it today. I've been struggling with this one because do I go somewhere that I've never had a Patreon meetup before, or do I go somewhere that's centrally located to where the majority of the people can tap in? We gonna go ahead and mine that out. So I'm gonna actually post the actual location of the next Patreon meetup in the description, and then I also plan on having the webinar with Pocket Watch and JT next Tuesday. I'm going to have the webinar with Pocket Watching with JT where y'all be able to cam up and ask him any question that y'all want to make sure that y'all taken care of. All right. So Disney, and I will be reading super chats throughout the show. Disney is laying off 7,000 people. Now, this is not new news. This is old news. Disney has already announced, along with so many other companies, that they have and they are going to be laying off over 7,000 people going into the summer. All right. Now, I want to break this down for you. I want to show you just how much Disney loves you. I know a lot of y'all are dedicated to Star Wars. I know a lot of y'all are dedicated to Star Wars. I know a lot of y'all are really in love with the Marvel universe. It's really meaningful to you. Spider-Man, No Way Out. I know a lot of that means a lot to y'all. Y'all think that these characters are real and that Disney give a fuck about you. But I'm going to just tell you, they brought in their old CEO and they say, listen, the shareholders are feeling some type of way about the potential profits that we got going up. And you know what he said? Fuck them motherfuckers. Because relationships are transactional. All right. So let's deep dive into this. And then I want to break this down for y'all to tell y'all exactly how much these companies love y'all and why you need to divest yourself emotionally so you can make the decision that's in your best interest. Hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it popping.
We got to start with the latest developments out of Disney. CEO Bob Iger announcing the start of mass layoffs this week. The company is cutting a total of 7,000 workers as it looks to slash $5.5 billion in costs. Yahoo Finance's Alexandra Canal following this story for us. And Ali, what do we know about this first round of layoffs?
So we already knew that these layoffs were coming. This was announced when Disney announced earnings on February 8th, which is why I don't think we saw an immediate reaction to the stock price. But shares are moving a bit higher right now, up about 2%.
Have you ever noticed that? I did. I'm going to talk about the buy now, pay later market tomorrow. I'm actually going to talk about that tomorrow, Derek T. Thanks for reminding me. And I'm going to give you some insight as to why Apple is joining the buy now, pay later specifically. but I wanted to get a little bit more information before I tackled that. But thanks, Derek T. That's pretty interesting. Have you ever noticed that whenever there's mass layoffs, that the stock price of that particular company goes up significantly? Y'all can't tell the correlation with it because they're actually doing a thing that shareholders and activist investors are asking for them to do.
Now, we did receive an internal memo from Bob Iger. Yahoo Finance obtained that. And we know that there will be 3 rounds to these cuts. The first round happening this week, the week of March 27th. Second round will be in April. And the third round will be before the beginning of the summer. So,
week of March 27th, they giving you the sauce. Second round is around April. And then the third round is going to be before the beginning of the summer. First round, now. Second round, April. Third round is going to be the beginning of the summer. They already know who they want to get rid of and when. They just putting together the packages. They trying to figure out where the least impact is going to happen. Who can they get rid of? How can they have natural attrition before you even get rid of yourself? It's all planned. He already knew it the minute that he came back into the company.
By the summer, 7,000 jobs will be eliminated. Now, Iger did warn that for the employees still present at the company, well, there are going to be a lot of challenges ahead. He wrote in part, quote, "For our employees who aren't impacted, I want to acknowledge that there will no doubt be challenges ahead as we continue building the structure and functions that will enable us to be successful moving forward."
Now, let's go back and reread that for a second. He says, there's going to be challenges ahead for our employees who aren't impacted. Let me translate that for you. Slow it down. I just dissed you. He's saying, first and foremost, it's a strong possibility that if we don't get this company turned back around and y'all don't double up y'all workload in order to take care of business, there's going to be another round of layoffs. You ain't hearing me. You not hearing me. You think that this is a motivational letter and memo that he's sending out to the people. He said, listen, we got a lot of work ahead of us. Y'all not even really paying attention to the finances of Disney. Did y'all know how much debt Disney took on when they tried to battle Netflix in the streaming wars? And how much money they lost when they decided to battle Netflix in the streaming wars? You thought that this was just about the recession? People are signing up more and more than ever for streaming. Disney is making record profits back at their parks. They lost a lot of money during the pandemic when everything shut down. They went into a war with the Florida governor, and the governor kicked their ass, right? But more importantly, they took on billions, and I'm talking about tens, 20s of billions of dollars. And this is why y'all need to understand the companies instead of just going off of whether or not you like Marvel. Pew, pew, Spider-Man is fighting Iron Man at the same time. Y'all need to start paying attention to whether or not these profit sheets, margins, what it is that they buying, how their competition is moving against them, whether or not they have to take their content off of other platforms, which they make a lot of money when it comes to licensing, right? Because when they had their stuff on Netflix, when they had their stuff on these other platforms, when the TV companies and these cable companies were showing this stuff on TV, they were making millions and millions and millions and billions of dollars off of licensing their content out to other content creators. Now, because they tried to pivot, because they was trying to build the metaverse, because they was trying to make sure that they competed against Netflix, and Netflix is still kicking ass and taking names, and they didn't know that Apple TV Plus and Paramount and Amazon is being shored up because all of these other companies have, think about it like this. Netflix is the leader, and their core business is subscriptions, which means that because they already have the lead, the only thing that they got to do is not do what Blockbuster did and fumble the bag, in which that's what they're doing. They continuing to create original content. They've been doing it for a long time, understanding that people were going to cut the cord. And then they also license some other content out in order to continue to make sure that they add value to shareholders while cutting the cord for some other people and adding advertisements into their business. Fundamentally, solid company. I love Netflix, been invested in Netflix for a long time. This is not financial advice. This is just me giving you what it is that I do, okay? Then you have these other players such as Apple, right? When you look at an Apple and you look at an Amazon, what you're seeing are businesses that are willing to take the losses on the front end in order to continue to compete with businesses that are being brought up as startup companies within that culture. Earlier this week, y'all got bored when we was talking about the Ford EV business. I was really breaking down to you company culture across the board, helping you to understand why certain businesses are willing to lose on the front end in order to really continue to shore up other things on the back end. So for example, and I'm going to relate it back to you, this is the sauce that they're not giving you. When you talk about Ford's EV business, for example, it is losing on average between $2 to $3 billion a year, right? A lot of people will say, oh my God, EV business, we need to pull out. No, because we know that California governors and all of these different municipalities and worldwide, even China, for example, is banning internal combustion engine ICE vehicles going forward. And so while Ford is making $13-14 billion total on all of these other businesses, including the Ford F-150 series, the F series is the best-selling truck, best-selling vehicle in the United States of America. They're making a whole lot of money when it comes to Ford businesses and Ford municipalities and fleets and all of this other type of stuff. Their internal combustion business is doing great. The same way that Blockbuster was doing great with rentals. The problem is what happens when you start to phase out and that the American economy start to go in a completely different direction, including the world economy. Well, what happens is you have a fundamentally failing long-term business model that's making you a lot of money now, but you need to invest money into the startup culture within a culture in order to make sure that you'll be a sustainable company in the future. So they're offsetting their costs by still being a profitable company by continuing to invest in a long-term strategy of the business, which is the EV business. They're willing to lose on the front end in order to make money on the back end, right? It's the same thing when it comes to Apple and Amazon, right? Amazon is shored up by Amazon Web Services, by the infrastructure and the data in which they use in order to make strong decisions within the company. Apple is making a lot of money on iPhones. They're making a lot of money on Macs and iPads and things like that. But Apple is slowly gearing up and they're making more money on the services business, which is Apple Care, Apple Fitness Plus, so on and so forth. That is the fastest growing segment of their business. They invest into that. It's starting to pay off. What they're also investing in is Apple TV. They're creating original content. They're willing to overspend. They'll buy different franchises for hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And they don't care as much about the losses on that end because the rest of their business is keeping them afloat and continuing to keep them incredibly profitable. They know that iPhone's growth has already came to a halt, but it's still an incredibly profitable business. But the monies that they make for that, it allows for them to be able to invest in a startup culture of all of these other things because they understand that content is king. Now, the problem with Disney is that they tried to compete with the likes of a Netflix and Apple and Amazon, who has other businesses that keep them afloat, but they tried to do it in a quick way that then took away from what it was that was fostering the majority of the profits within a company. For example, licensing, right? And so what happened is they took on a whole lot of debt, upwards of over $20 billion in order to buy certain content libraries that allow for them to sustain themselves for the extended period of time into the future. But they over-leveraged themselves. So, for example, when they bought Fox, right, they also had to get rid of Fox Sports because they already own ESPN. They wanted The Simpsons and they wanted the Avatar franchise, but they didn't want the rest of that bullshit, so it just came along with it. But see, when Fox got into a bidding war, right, because both Xfinity and the CEO of Comcast and Disney was trying to buy the content library, it upped the ante because it became the same way that y'all started buying houses, the same way that y'all got into a bidding war during the pandemic because you said that interest rates is low. This is the same thing that happened, except for Disney was between a rock and a hard place because they felt like they still needed that content creation library because they was creating Disney Plus and they needed to compete with Netflix, and we was in the middle of a pandemic and everything was going really swell and their share price was up. And so they overpaid for all of the other content that they didn't even want just to be able to compete against them and to keep it out of Xfinity and Comcast's content library. And this is where the dilemma lies because they still got these balloon payments. They still got these debt payments that they have to make, right? And guess who's going to suffer as a result of it? I'm giving you a whole lesson right now. Guess who's going to suffer as a result of it? You are. You're going to pay the price of the mistakes of these large corporations such as Disney, You're going to pay the price of these large corporations that's laying you off, such as Microsoft. You're going to pay the price of these large corporations such as Meta. You going to pay for it. You are. You got it. Because guess who they're going to lay off in order to make sure that they save money, billions of dollars every year, in order to ensure that they got enough money to take care of the business and sustain the future of the other employees that have to pick up the slack to make sure that you're taken care of. You are. And so now, they're going to go through phases now, April, beginning of the summer, in order to eliminate the diversity and inclusion positions that you advocated for because you went and got a basket weaving degree. Let's continue. I'm going to teach you how much they love you. I'm going to teach you all the way from the core. So that's why you can't miss a show. When you miss a show, you miss the fundamentals of what's going to be taught in another show later on, which is why you have to pay attention, okay?
Moving forward, I ask for your continued understanding and collaboration during this time. So a turbulent period overall for this company. And let's not forget, in addition to these layoffs, Disney also restructured the business into 3 separate units, entertainment, ESPN, parks. So when Disney does report earnings next quarter, we will see all 3 of those segments split. And we'll
similar to how Ford split their stuff up from the EV business to the Ford Blue, which is internal combustion engines, to the Ford business unit where they sell commercial vehicles and they sell frames and all of this other type of stuff. They're breaking it out so that they can get more support from shareholders when they look at these numbers and they say, okay, listen, we like that business, but we like what you invest in over here. And then the company can spin it off and say, well, this is kind of like a startup business. This is kind of separate. Companies have gotten so creative that you know what they do. They'll spin off an entire unit and then saddle it with debt, knowing that it's going to fail in order to keep the rest of the company afloat. They'll spin off a business. Hey, listen, ESPN is its own entity. We're going to do a whole new stock issuing for that. Throw all of the debt over there. Don't be surprised if you see something like this happen. I'm telling you, it happens all the time.
Be receiving the details when it comes to revenue subscribers, which I do think analysts and investors alike are really curious about, especially with ESPN and how sports rights has just ballooned.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I really want to get a glimpse, being a sports fan, of just how much they are contributing to the bottom line there. Obviously, Parks we know is, but ESPN needs to be separated to get
like Amazon did with Twitch. You are correct.
a better look under the hood. And I can tell you, everyone over at ESPN walking on eggshells, just wondering who's going to be next. It's a very tough time because they've been through this before. The whole media sector really is going through a tumultuous time, to use your words. Who else is undergoing a similar transition, and what does it tell us about the year ahead?
We've really seen this across the board, right? Paramount restructuring its business to combo with Showtime. Warner Brothers Discovery, that is a business that's dealt with multiple merger-related challenges. But in the latest earnings report, CEO David Zaslav said that the bulk of their restructuring is behind them. We've seen Netflix roll out several revenue initiatives, like its crackdown on password sharing, ad-supported. So this is something that all media companies are leaning into right now, this promise that better days are ahead in 2023, that we're going to be seeing these peak losses. And that's because of these layoffs. That's because of these restructuring efforts. So that is really the vibe right now on Wall Street, within the media landscape. And this comes after 2022. The stock market wiped $500 billion off of the top media and entertainment companies. So
what shareholders want to see, and I'm about to read y'all super chat. Shout out to Ronnie Robinson. What shareholders want to see is growth and profitability. If you are not profitable, they want to see a path to profitability, similar to Tesla, right? Tesla was losing money for a long time, but because they seen the path to profitability, shareholders and investors continued to pump money into the company, which then they incentivized Elon Musk to continue to stay with the company by giving him a ton of money and approving his pay package, which then made him one of the richest men in the world. If investors and shareholders can see a pathway to profitability, or they can continue to see continued growth within the company, they will tolerate the foolishness that goes along with it. They will tolerate your diversity and equity and inclusion companies. They'll tolerate the Black Lives Matters. But I tell you what, you start fucking up the money, they will remove you immediately. Immediately. Let me get into some of these super chats and see what y'all talking about and see what the vibes is out here in these streets. Derek T says, did you see Apple is joining the buy now, pay later market? I already told y'all that this was going to happen way last year. But yeah, I'm going to break that down tomorrow. I'm definitely going to break that. Shout out to my dog, Derek. Jeremy Clay says Bob Iger, Disney CEO, book he released a year ago is one of my favorites. Highly recommended my fellow bag chasers to read it. Shout out to Jeremy Clay. Make sure y'all tap into that and get Bob Iger's book. He retired and then unretired. Razik says, that's why I ride trade options when you know the game is easy. I don't know about that, Razik. I'm gonna let you have that. I would never recommend trade options over to my people. I do not believe in day trading or options, but I don't stop anybody from doing what they do. Mr. Youngblood City says, these early shows hard for me to catch on Cali time. It's only 7 o'clock, 7:15 when I start on Cali time. It's already 8 o'clock. You're supposed to be up. I was up at 4:30. I'll be up at 4:30 in the morning getting it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. Youngblood City. Y'all gonna have to go to bed earlier. Dick Maximus said the woke shows weren't profitable. Buy to those type of writers and get back to making good content that people like. Facts. People don't want to see that BS. They want to see something that's going to entertain them, and then you put the medicine in the candy. Ronnie Robinson said, good morning, Mr. Anton. You are right about Disney. Don't forget Disney has to pay for the right to use Spider-Man, which is an additional cost. They are passing to subscribers using the app. I'm telling you, I know what's happening out here. I'm breaking it down to a science for you. Mike Jones, my dog, says, morning, Anton, with the firing of Victoria Alonso and Disney movies bombing and not bringing in profit, Disney is definitely in trouble. I think that they are absolutely in the most tumultuous point in one of their histories. And I think that Disney needs to have a close eye on them. Their parks is bringing in record revenue. They movies is going woke, so we're going to have to be careful about that. But we definitely got to keep an eye on Disney. I do not recommend investing in Disney personally for myself. I'm going to stick with riding with Netflix if I have to pick a content creator. I'm going to roll with Netflix because I think that Netflix has been incredible. Their stock has been performing incredibly well, and they have a strong leadership that is doing really, really well for them, and they're not going to become the next blockbuster. So, let's continue. Shout out to all of the super chats and the people that's holding me down. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I want to continue the show. The thing that I want to continue into, because we know that the middle class is going away, right? And so this is a content creator that I follow on a regular basis, and he does these really, really good videos where he goes up to rich people. He'll knock on their doors. He'll walk to their neighborhoods. I'm not so sure that I can get away with it without getting arrested, but that's just the way that it is. Black people have made it difficult to be able to walk in the neighborhoods without getting arrested because y'all always out here stealing cars and being Kia boys. Feel some type of way about it. Anyways, since he can do it and I can't, and he has the time to do so and I don't, I'd like to play this video for you in which he's walking around in New York on the street asking specific people, both millionaires and regular people, about what it is that they do and how they got rich or how they made over $1 million. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and I'm definitely going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's get started.
We are in the most expensive city in America, New York City. We just checked out a room here that was $10,000 a night. How do these people afford this? Today, we're going to find out by going up to New Yorkers and asking them, what do y'all do for a living? What kind of stuff do you guys do in New York? What was your career?
Ship owning.
What? Really? You own ships?
Yes, mostly tankers.
And you bought and sold tankers?
Yes.
Is that very lucrative of a career?
There are good years and very challenging years. This is the only city in the world we could have started that business.
Very impressive.
It's special.
What kind of company?
That man said he owned tankers. That old man that probably be sitting in the dark doing who God knows what said he owned tankers. I got a lot of work to do out here in these streets.
Did you start?
It's called Haifa Limestone, so I import limestone from Europe and the Middle East. We do high-end homes.
How much does limestone cost?
It used to cost me $5,000 a container to ship it before the pandemic. Now it's $20,000.
When did you feel like you made it in America?
I wanted to make $1 million before I turned 30, and it turns out that was the easiest one to make. After that, it got harder.
Look at all of the different ways in which people are making money. I think that that's probably the most fascinating thing about these videos is that for some reason, all of my people, let me switch my head up. For some reason, all of my people think that the only way that you can make money is being a ball player or a rapper. And I'm like, yo, it's some people that's doing some incredibly unique things. They just open to the possibility. And the only way that you really find out how to really get into certain businesses is you got to be open to networking. You got to be spending time around people that don't necessarily do what you do, or they can't necessarily relate to you, or they not all just black or living in an echo chamber. Sometimes the most unique opportunities, or an opportunity for you to solve a problem within the marketplace, which is really how you're supposed to really get rich. You solve a problem in a marketplace, or you add value into something. You got to get out of your comfort zone and network more effectively, which is getting out into the streets and participating in society.
It's been a really fun ride, but success is different for everybody. It's like, what's success? Is it $1 million? Is it 50 million? Is it 500 million? It's not a number. It's more what makes you happy.
What does finance do?
I take people's money and try to give them more money back, essentially.
Sounds like a finesse.
What do people make in that career?
Hundreds of thousands.
So if someone was just starting out, what would you recommend?
Work hard, keep grinding.
What was it like for you?
A lot of hours, kissing ass, and you got to make a name for yourself.
He said it was kissing ass, and you got to make a name for yourself. Sounds like marketing and being a cultural fit, which I've been beating you guys over the head for the last 2 to 3 years. Marketing and being a cultural fit. When you do that, making a name for yourself, and sometimes you got to kiss some frogs in order to find your prince, ladies. You got to kiss some frogs in order to find your prince, ladies. If you're unwilling to do that, then I hope that you're ready to just get a regular job, because nobody is going to give you anything that you are not working hard for.
We're selling farmland at auction. We sell in 40 different states. We sell quite a bit of land in Texas. Love Texas. Texas is a great state.
Is that a lucrative career, selling farmland?
It's a good career. Excellent career.
What kind of work are you in?
I head up operations for North America for a English brand. We design and manufacture kitchenware products.
Really? Which kind of products?
It's a brand's called Joseph. Anything chopping boards.
Joseph, they have like the super famous cutting boards?
Yeah, the multi, like lots of colors.
How'd you end up getting in that work?
I've been with the brand like 10 years. I started off.
Think about it. Look at this old white woman that y'all gonna automatically call racist or a Karen if y'all walk into a grocery store and she don't let you cut first in the line. And she's walking around with a tennis outfit on in the middle of New York City, which is one of the reasons why I love New York. I love New York City. I adore New York in the summertime, minus the rats. But I love New York City. I love going to New York City. I love spending my summers hanging out in New York City. I love being in the streets. I love riding the subway. I love walking around. It is one of the best experiences that you guys have to. If you guys have not spent an extended amount of time in New York City, this spring, this summer, go over there, hang out, interact with people, go into places that you wouldn't normally go into, speak, say hi, start up a conversation. You don't know who you're going to run into. And part of networking is participating in spaces that you wouldn't normally be in, because that's where your opportunities come from, is maintaining relationships.
From customer service.
From customer service to like running all of North America?
Yes.
How'd you do that?
Through hard work. I was able to move up 3 different departments, and so now I've head up.
If someone was starting in their career, what would you recommend for them?
Hard work, getting in, making sure you don't mind putting in the extra hours.
We thought it'd be easy to get some advice from the rich and wealthy that live in New York City.
Sir, do you have a few minutes?
Not right now.
No, not those.
The common theme with all of these people is that they're willing to work the hours that other people aren't willing to work, and they're willing to be in spaces that other people are not willing to be in order to be successful. That's the common theme that you see when all of these people are doing what they do. They then get to the point to where they can buy their time back. They can enjoy themselves a little bit more. But ultimately, it's all networking and then doing the thing that other people are unwilling to do in order to become successful. That's really what it really comes down to. When y'all sleeping, I'm working. When y'all chilling, when you whining about the man and all of that other type of stuff, I go and I put on a completely different hat, switch my outfit, go over to this particular space and network every single day. Every night. There are people that DM me. Literally. It's a guy that DM me just the other day. Let me show you what the DM says. Every day I get different DMs that see me. Some people speak to me. Some people don't. Guy said, yo, I saw you walking back. I saw you walking down Woodward today from Mac. Right here. And I say, yep, that was me. I'm literally out and about. I go to a different space. I got some upcoming interviews, for example, right? I got some upcoming interviews, for example, that's dropping in the Patreon. And I was able to get connected with different people. I got a hacker that's coming over that actually did time. And he's given us a lot of insight on how you can get in certain industries from a financial perspective, all of the money that's available, and how he was able to navigate from getting arrested at a very early age in order to be able to get into certain industries. Now, not only is he a professor, but he's also a very financially successful person that is incredibly insightful. I might have an upcoming interview with the guys from StockX. I might have some upcoming interview with some people that supply some very, 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 very famous people with a lot of their products and services and things like that. But do you know how I was able to get a lot of these interviews? It's because I connect with and I'm out in the street every single day. And I'm linking up with people and I'm having a good time. You know, some of the people that y'all have seen, for example, on the panel, I've heard some of y'all say some crazy stuff in the chat and stuff like that. And y'all don't even know that this person might be the right-hand man or a right-hand woman of this other person that then connected me with this person that allows for me to be able to mine out the information that I drop for y'all in the Patreon in an upcoming interview, right? Certain CEOs I got coming on, certain connected people, politicians that I got coming on, but it's because I'm out in the streets. I'm out participating. I'm out at your favorite bar. I'm out at Campus Martius Parks. I'm going to the ice skating rinks. I go to certain gyms, not necessarily because I like that particular gym or because it gives me all of the muscles. It's because it allows for me to be able to play racquetball with the guy that I don't necessarily even care about racquetball about, but he's a really cool dude and he invited me over there to go there. And so I always say yes. I say yes to everything. I'm always saying yes. People invite me places. Hey, Anton, come out to dinner with us. I just figure out how I can fit it into my schedule. I'm yesing all the time because I want to learn about you. I want to find out what it is that you do. Next thing you know, they'd be like, man, I like you. Rita got me this other interview lately. Relationships is transactional. She out there, what was that, yesterday, going out to dinner and all of this other type of stuff, building relationships. And next thing you know, she's like, man, I love y'all so much. I need to hook y'all up with this person. I'm like, wait a minute, she know them? Rita like, yeah, I got it for you. Y'all have to be open. Y'all have to be open to the possibilities. Y'all only want to work with people that look like y'all. You shooting yourself in the foot. You preventing me from getting the information that you're supposed to get because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
But the more we tried to approach them, the more we got rejected. But the people we met who weren't part of the super rich had some of the most inspiring stories.
How much is your rent here?
So I pay $1,200. Literally right down here, it's small. It's like 70 square feet, like super small.
70 square feet.
Yeah, I didn't want to pay too.
How many of y'all are willing to live? How many of y'all are willing to live in a 70 square foot place in order to be in the space that you need to be in order to become successful? How many of y'all are willing to pay $1,200 a month for a 70 square foot place to live in the city and be close to the people that you're supposed to be close to? That's a question for your ass right there.
Too much, but I wanted to like live the New York experience. So like start out like small and then work your way up.
And what do you do for work?
Business development.
And what do y'all do in New York?
I'm in horticulture.
What is horticulture?
Gardening. I work at a baseball stadium, so I do all the grounds outside the stadium.
You do like the grass, like the Mets or the Yankees?
Yeah, Mets, City Field.
What do horticulturists make?
Not enough.
6 figures?
No. 75.
What kind of work do you do in New York?
I do recruitment.
What kind of people are you recruiting?
So I do more in the fashion business. So
these
what is someone
people
like that
aren't the
make?
millionaires. These are regular, everyday people that he's actually just interviewing. He already interviewed a lot of the millionaires, but these are regular, everyday people that he's interviewing, and he's finding out what they do for a living and how much they make. The horticulture guy that does the grounds for the Yankee Stadium and stuff like that makes $75,000 a year in New York.
Make as a recruiter? What's like the range of salary?
well, you have a base and then you get commission.
What was your first New York salary? Do you remember? The first paycheck?
$34K.
All right, so we're taking a quick break from shooting, and I want to thank Ramp.com for helping make this video check break. You've been thinking about checking out Ramp.
Tech sales for a company called Okta. I'm a product manager at a property tech company as well.
What are the range of salaries at these kind of tech companies?
Upwards of like 3-4.
Look at this. Look at this black man sitting there having conversations next to a friend of his that just so happened to not be black. What? You don't say. And now he's breaking down how he makes possibly between $300,000 and $400,000 a year. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that there's black people and white people and what y'all call brown and blue and beige people that are walking and working together in this melting pot of cities such as New York City that is getting money together, and then they become friends and they don't actually hate each other because they're actually different colors? What? You don't say.
100 in a year, and I know some people who make around like 120. Dude, it's all over the place, like depending on the job. Like as a product manager, I'd say the low end is probably around 100. You guys at Google are probably making like 400 all in.
I'm a graphic designer. I now work at Google.
Like generally, how much do you make range?
When I first moved, I think I made like 80 grand a year or something like that. And she was in school and making no money.
What would be your advice for someone that's new coming to New York?
Come with friends. Be willing to live in like totally shit situations and take whatever job that you can.
Be willing to live in trash situations and take whatever you can to get your foot in the door, and then you work your ass off and you make yourself a valuable asset to where they then start to see and promote you, and then you grow and you become more successful. No. You thought that you were supposed to make the same thing as him because you was a woman, instead of putting in your time, putting in the hours, getting your 10,000 hours in and doing what it is that you're supposed to do.
Take risks, try new things, push yourself. You know, I think playing it safe in New York doesn't get you very far.
Are you in tech, or what do you do for it? I was trying to guess. I was like designer, architect.
No, I work in finance.
Oh, do you? Do you wear this to work?
I've worn this to work, but I usually wear black pants.
What kind of stuff do you do in finance?
Asset management.
Like, what are the ranges of salaries that someone could be?
Starting out, I think the average wage is like $95K.
What do you do for work?
Finance for Department of Education.
Like the government? So like I help pay for you a little bit.
Basically. This is all of your taxpayer dollars.
What is the Department of Education?
He looked just like he
So
worked
I
there.
oversee special ed finance. Budgets in finance when it relates to special needs kids.
How much money is that in the budget that you guys manage?
I manage about $6 billion.
He manages a $6 billion budget for special education students. Is that how much that we're allocating in that particular city just for that? Are we allocating $6 billion for special education? Don't get me started. Don't even get me started. No way that we're allocating that type of budget for special education. No way. No way. I don't believe it. No freaking way. No way. No how. No way, no how that we allocating that amount of money over into special education. No way. Wow.
Dude, that is wild. Is that wild to you? How much would you be making if you were in private, you think?
I want to say like 180, 200.
What kind of stuff do you do in New York? What do you do for work?
I'm a lawyer.
I don't know if I want to be sued by you or have you as like my defense. What kind of law?
None of the above, yeah. I'm a corporate lawyer.
What's the range of what a lawyer can make in New York?
Between 50,000 to maybe 100,000. But if you're in the corporate space, you probably make six figures.
What do you do in New York?
I'm a composer.
That is so cool. What do you compose?
I compose music for TV.
Is there anything that we've heard or?
There was the opening sequence on Shameless, a TV show.
What's a top composer make? Like, I have no idea.
There's Hans Zimmer. He makes quadrillions, but then it goes down to pennies per stream on like Spotify or whatever, like 0.0008 cents.
And what do you do in New York?
I'm a consultant for a healthcare company. I work with getting
Oh, you already know she about to get to the bag. I already know she get to the bag.
legalized medical marijuana.
Really? How did you get into that career?
Former client in the pharmaceutical industry sought me out. I worked for CBS Television for 21 years, running their health division.
What's the salary of someone like this? If someone aspired to be a consultant?
It's an IPO, so, pay isn't great, but there's...
So let me tell y'all the difference between an IPO and somebody that automatically goes into a corporate entity that's already fully functioning and making a lot of money, right? Some people call me a lot of times and they get coaching calls and they say, Anton, I got this position at a potential IPO. IPO stands for initial public offering, right? So it's a company that is private that is looking to go public so that they can raise a lot of money. And then what happens is once they go public, you get paid a lot of money and then you go off and you go into the sunset and you get really, really rich as a result of it. A lot of people that wind up going into the IPO sector, either they're very, very young or they're very, very seasoned. You very rarely found people in the middle Because the people in the middle, they got families, they don't want to take a lot of risks and things like that. So usually what happens with an IPO or a potential IPO or a small startup company is they're trying to grow to the point to where, and they're largely dependent on venture capitalists and raising money and raising funds, right? But they're trying to grow to the point to where they can become an IPO, which would then turn the amount that you own in the company. So in order to recruit people to work there, because they can't recruit them and pay them more than what a lot of these corporate entities do, right? It's very hard to pay somebody what Google paying somebody versus what an IPO can compete. And so what they'll do is they say, listen, we'll give you equity in the company. At one point, Apple was a company that was raising money and then it was going to go public. That's why Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, Microsoft, for example, that was a company that went public, and that's how Steve Ballmer, who now owns the Clippers, and Bill Gates got rich. Even Tesla themselves, they were a private company that wound up going public, and Elon Musk got really, really rich as a result of it. Uber, every single company that's listed on the stock index, at one point they were a private company or they were spun off and they were, then went public. The difference is the risk. It's a strong possibility that the company will fail and it'll never really make any money and it won't go public. And then it's another possibility that the company will get bought out, such as Instagram being bought out by Facebook or whatever, so on and so forth. YouTube, for example. And then in the last instance, there's a strong possibility that it'll become incredibly successful. So the reason why young people can do that is because they're willing to take the risk. They take less money on the front end. Hopefully they get really rich and they make a lot of money on the back end. Once the company go public, they become millionaires, right? People that have been in other spaces for a long time, a lot of times they get recruited over into these small companies or into these privately owned companies. And then they get paid a decent base salary. They willing to forego a little bit of the money because they made a lot of money or they have a lot of experience in order to make a lot of money on the back end from being recruited into these companies. So when you see somebody that says, yo, listen, I work for a potential IPO or a company that's looking to be IPO'd or work in this new tech venture company or so on and so forth, that means that they taking less money on the front end in order to get the bag on the back end. That's how you get really rich. That's how you make a lot of money.
The equity when it goes public.
What kind of work are you in?
I work in finance, but there's opportunities in every industry.
How do you think you made it?
Just hard work. You like to work, you come to New York.
How much work is hard work?
I'm a workaholic, but I think in any field, like whether you're a lawyer, a banker, New York City is a place, it's a magnet for people who like to work hard.
Do you love what you do?
I love what I do, yeah.
That was great. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. What's been different and interesting about the story?
So, long story short, the common theme here is that in every environment, if you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to go hard, if you're willing to make sacrifices, if you possibly live in to live in a shitty environment, work longer hours than everybody else, that is the common theme amongst these people, and they make an informed decision of what success looks like. People that's always asking for handouts, anybody that's looking to beg to get to a certain space, they're always going to be on the tail end of the conversation because nobody is going to give you anything. You have to figure out how to add value into the marketplace. You got to work your ass off. You got to network all the way up to the top of the food chain. And that's how you build your connections and things like that. It's not going to a networking event. But if you're willing to do the things that other people are unwilling to do and add value into the market, you will be incredibly successful. Let me read a few of these super chats and then we're going to continue on with the show. Plato says, if you had 100,000, how would you break it up and allocate it? Taxes already taken out. I did a video about this, I think like 2 years ago. It depends on your circumstance. If you had debt, I will allocate all of it to getting rid of the debt because it's much easier to climb Mount Everest if you don't have rocks in your backpack, and the rocks in your backpack represent the debt. If you don't have debt, or if you can clear out a significant amount of your debt or all of your debt and still have some money left over, that's when I would start to move a little bit differently, but you probably have to get a coaching call for that one because you can't get all of that sauce for $5. But largely, I just think it depends on your circumstances specifically. It depends on where it is that you are in your life. The first thing you do is you want to eliminate debt. The second thing you want to do is you want to start, I can't answer this question without giving y'all the sauce. All right, so it's 3 different levels in life, right? Or actually it's 4 different levels in life. But most people only can see 3 if they get lucky. The first level in life is, listen, I just want to be happy. I want to, get out of debt. The second level in life is, okay, I'm living this middle-class lifestyle. I'm used to driving this very mid-ass car. A Toyota is the same thing as a BMW 3 Series, right? And I want to be financially set. That's when you start looking at your portfolio. You start looking at your retirement and all of this other type of stuff, right? That's when you want to get, $800,000, $1 million in your net worth to be able to sustain you for an extended period of time. That's when you want to make sure that you have enough money in order for your family to be straight if anything happens to you. The next level is you want to make sure that you're straight for the rest of your life. So then that's when you start moving a little bit differently and you say, okay, listen, my family is straight if anything ever happens to me, right? My daughter can go to college, her college is paid for, 529s, whatever. That's when you start to say, okay, how much do I need to be able to live for the rest of my life without going broke? That's when you excel past the 800,000 to 1 million and you start getting anywhere between 2 million to 5 million. If you can get a 2 million to 5 million net worth, it's a strong possibility that you won't run out of money before you die, right? And you'll be able to leave some money over. The final level is, listen, how can I get enough money to where I can maintain my lifestyle? Let me say that again. How can I get enough money to where I can maintain my lifestyle? First level is, listen, I'm just tired of looking dusty and I want to get out of debt. Second level is I want to make sure that my family is straight. Third level is I want to make sure that I don't run out of enough money before I die, and I want to make sure that I'm straight. Fourth level is I want to be able to maintain my lifestyle. Now, maintaining your lifestyle and living your life based off of I don't want to run out of money is two different things, because one of them is survival and one of them is thriving. I want to maintain my lifestyle is I need to make, for me specifically, anywhere between $1 million and $3 million a year. And then I don't want to touch the principal of what it is that I have put up from an asset perspective. And I want to have a net worth above $20 to $25 million. That's me. Because my lifestyle and how I travel, I'm going over to Tokyo in August, and my round trip tickets for me and my family is $31,000, right? I like the big cars. I like going to the Pistons game and sitting courtside every single year. And so maintaining a lifestyle means that you take inventory of how much what you really want. What do you want to drive? Where do you want to travel to? How often you want to go? What kind of strings do you want on you? How many assets are you going to need in order to maintain this lifestyle to where you don't touch the principal? And so the 100,000 is really just the ground floor of eliminating the rocks in your backpack that allows for you to then start to make the investments in the assets that's going to allow for you to then thrive or survive and then thrive. So that's the way that I kind of look at life, right? Ground floor, get rid of the debt. Then I want to make sure that my family is straight. Then I want to make sure I don't run out of money. Then I want to figure out how it is that I can maintain a lifestyle. Those are all the levels that I try to lean into in order to make sure that I got enough money to make sure I can do whatever it is I want to do for the rest of my life. All right. So good question though. Brand says, or you could live in a Dallas or Denver or somewhere in Florida for much, much less and still make valuable connections, or not. Because most of the people that live in big cities, they don't come out the house. They don't go outside and be interactive. You need to be able to live, work, and play all. Why do you think that the majority of the billionaires actually live in New York? That is a myth, Brand. That is a myth. Most of the people that make the most money and have the most connections all live in concentrated areas around each other. You need to find out where all of the people are that's making the moves and making the connections. That is a myth. You can move over to Dallas if you want to. Dallas is awesome. I think Dallas is awesome. You can move over to Denver if you want to. That's cool. Somewhere in Florida? Nope. You need to find specific places in Florida that they're making moves and doing all of the things that actually add the most value. Because I'm telling you that your network is your net worth. Most people that live regular everyday lifestyles go to work and they go fucking home. They get in their car and they drive back out to their house, and they do not go out and make valuable connections. You cannot make valuable connections only on LinkedIn. You cannot make valuable connections only on Instagram. That's not how it works. You need to get out of the house. Be very intentional. Participate in society. Y'all know what I want y'all to watch? I want y'all to watch Family Man. I want y'all to watch Family Man. It's the reason why these people are actually moving to New York City. Go and watch Family Man. The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. It is one of the best movies. It is one of my favorite movies. It is a phenomenal, heart-tugging, going back and forth, the difference between family and success. Listen, I want everybody watching this right now, if you can, tonight, watch The Family Man with Nicolas Cage. It is a tale between two lives. And basically the premise of the movie is it stars Don Cheadle and Nicolas Cage, right? It's a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. It actually changed my life. And he's a billionaire, millionaire guy. He has the top penthouse in one of the top places inside of New York. And he goes down and it's Christmas Eve and it starts snowing and he saves somebody. And he does the right thing. And this angel, he allows for him to see what his life is like if he had made one different decision in order to be a family man and live in the suburbs versus become incredibly successful and live in a city. That'll give you a better understanding of exactly what this life is like. It's a lot of sacrifices. It's not being family man every day. But I don't want to go into it. Watch Family Man with Nicolas Cage. It will completely change exactly how you see how people network and what success looks like. Watch the whole movie. Watch Family Man. I'm telling you, it's an incredible movie. Let me see what other these super chats is talking about. Y'all think that y'all can just move anywhere y'all want and that's the end of the conversation. You can't. You can't. I'm telling you. NYC education budget is $34 billion in total. Fuck. Really? Really? Man. L Modern Trades. Well, before I get into this next super chat, let me say this, y'all. Let me say this to the people. Y'all need to stop trying to finesse y'all way out of hard work and doing it the right way. Let me remove this. Y'all have to stop trying to finesse yourselves into a position of power. It does not work like that. There are no shortcuts to success. You are going to have to go outside if you want to level up. You're going to have to do shit that you didn't want to do if you want to get to certain parts in life. My people, my beautiful, melanated, white, Asian, black, whatever. My people, you cannot have shortcuts to success. That is not how the game works, man. It's not how the game works. You have to go outside and do some shit. You got to move. You know, MTR. Let me use mediocre tutorial and reviews. I'm objective. I can use different people for different things, right? MTR. Matter of fact, I'm not even going. Yeah, let me say MTR. MTR, from what I heard, because when I first met MTR, mediocre tutorial and reviews, I met him at Kevin Samuel's funeral. We had talked a little bit, just really, really briefly on Instagram before, but I kicked it with him at Kevin Samuel's funeral. And we had talked about, we going to work together or whatever, so on and so forth, possibilities, whatever. Obviously, it never came into fruition. But he was like, I'm right up the street from you in Ohio. I said, okay, cool. I heard MTR moved over into Atlanta. I wonder why. MTR moved over into Atlanta. One of the championing things that Kevin Samuels used to say on a regular basis is, listen, Oklahoma City, where we went back and we went to his funeral and we, all of the procession, was too small for him. The first time that I met Kevin Samuels personally, and it wasn't even online and it was before I ever showed up on his platform, I met Kevin Samuels in Miami. Let me say that again. I met Kevin Samuels in Miami way before he blew up. You know how I met Kevin Samuels? Most people don't even know this. Matter of fact, you're not even going to believe me, so I'm going to call somebody. People have no clue. Way before he blew up on the internet.
Hello.
Hey, I'm on a live. Do you remember the very first time before he ever even blew up, before he got big, way when he had a few subscribers? You remember the first time that I ever met and seen Kevin Samuels? What city was I in?
Was we in Miami?
We was in Miami. And where were we? What was we doing? Where was we, like, just in general? What was we doing?
We was driving down the street or walking down the street. I don't remember.
And we were in Brickell.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember the area for sure.
All right, thanks. All right, bye. Me and Kev connected way before y'all knew who Kev was online. I never told this story before. Me and Kevin Samuels met walking down the street in Brickell in Miami. Happenstance. I was fresh. He was fresh. He had on all black. And I'm like, man, I know you from somewhere. And he like, yeah, I think I seen some of your content too. We never even knew. He never told me that he was on the internet. I never told him that I had a YouTube channel. We just literally just started talking. And I was asking him, yo, what you doing here? And he was like, what you doing here or whatever, so on and so forth. We walking down the street in Miami. And he by himself, is me and Rita, and he complimented Rita, and we just so happened to have a conversation, and we stood there for like 5 minutes talking. We exchanged information. We stayed in touch with each other. And then we realized after we had stayed in touch with each other that both of us was on the internet. That's how I met Kevin Samuels. That's the first time that I ever met him, that I ever seen him. That's how I met Kevin Samuels, walking down the street in Brickell in Miami. Never would have happened. It never would have happened. That's how I meet a lot of people. A lot of this most successful, I got a mentor that's worth over $100 million, literally over $100 million. I met him literally in the streets and got introduced to him by another guy that I ran into while I was over by him. And then he was like, oh, what's up going on? Such and such, such and such. He was like, let me introduce you to Anton. Never knew who he was. Never knew what he was about. None of that. I met Kevin Samuels walking down the street in the middle of a city that was busied in a mug, and we just so happened to run into each other. I had my wife with him, and we just started having a conversation, maintain a relationship, connected, and then we realized that we was both on the internet. Later on, he wound up blowing up. We still stayed in touch, jumped on his platform. He would come over to the Lapeef Network. We stayed in touch, had conversations offline. We would do, trips over to New York because his favorite watch shop was in New York. I started putting him up on game on which watches he wanted to rock with because I didn't want him to buy anything that didn't appreciate with value. And we started to build a relationship and a friendship after that. Right? But what I'm telling you is that if you're not in these spaces, if you are not outside, if you are not connecting, if you are not going to the major cities, if you just think that you just going to happen upon people and I could just network randomly, I'm telling you, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So y'all got to stop being lazy. You got to stop being comfortable. No, Brickell was in Miami. Y'all got to stop being lazy. You have to be comfortable. You got to get uncomfortable. You have to get uncomfortable. I'm telling you. All right. Let me go ahead and continue to read. He said, people sleep on networking and professional connections. Connect with the person may not be in your field or straight up help you, but that connection may be the bridge to someone who needs it or who can help you. Shout out to you. I appreciate you, big dog. Jonathan Barronville, my dog, says, Anton, you should do a show on compensation package negotiation and how to do the math to balance salary versus stock options. I'd be happy to contribute. The problem with that, Jonathan Barronville, is that I don't believe that the general public should have that information. I would have to do that on Patreon only. That would have to be a Patreon exclusive. That would absolutely have to be a Patreon exclusive. All right. Somebody said Jacquees. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville. I appreciate you. Let me read to some more of these super chats, and then I'm going to get to some of y'all other questions because I got another segment that I want to share with y'all. Dale McBride says, how do we prepare for a coaching call? You don't. You just be honest. You be open. Understand that the first coaching call that I have with y'all is going to be a discovery session. It's going to be me learning you. It's going to be you learning me. It's going to be an expectation. I'm probably going to give you some homework depending on what we talk about. But a lot of it is going to be based off of, and the difference between a 30-minute coaching session and 1 hour coaching session. I would encourage y'all to do an hour. It's actually cheaper for you, and it's probably better because we're not rushing Some of y'all come prepared with questions and it don't go the way that y'all thought it was going to go. So just be honest. It's just me and you on the phone, or it's just me and you on a Zoom call. Just be honest when y'all have a coaching session with me. Good question. Ruckus says, I said yes to running a 4-mile event with a few buddies. I can care less about running, but it got me connected to a corporate lawyer and other professionals that invited me to lunch to network to lunch to network. Bag C. You know how I met one of my mentors? I met one of my mentors at a I met one of my most successful mentors during the pandemic. Y'all want to know how I met my mentor? One of them. I went on meetup.com in the pandemic because nobody wanted to go outside. And this was before I had actually moved down to Miami for the winter. And I looked up doing something outside of my normal thing that I've never done before with people I've never met before. And I wound up going hiking, and I actually documented my hiking trip. It's on the Anton Daniels channel. That's why I continue to document this stuff so y'all can go back and watch it and see for yourself. And I wound up hiking with a bunch of people that I've never met before. And I did an 8-mile hike in the forest, and we had a ball, and we all stayed in touch, and then we wound up staying connected. And then this guy started mentoring me because he was incredibly successful. That's how I met one of my mentors. It's crazy. Y'all be surprised. Let me see. Let me read a few more. Aaron says, join organizations to make connections, go to events, attend conferences, and volunteer. That's good stuff. Cliff Williams says, lazy people going to be lazy, bro. More for me. I agree. Bang the Game says, waiting for the first of the month so I can be a bag chaser. Actually sent you an email explaining my why. Shout out to all of the new Patreon members. Links is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to you. V Scott says, from the comment sections to the panel on Fridays, living proof you got to network with intention. You know what's so funny about V Scott? Y'all know what's so funny about V Scott? V Scott is actually one of the people that's on my panel on Saturday nights. You know how I met V? He was first it was in the comments, then he became a bag chaser, then he came up to one of the meetups, and now we working together, and he's one of the panelists. And he be getting free coaching sessions every fucking weekend that we be in here. And I don't care because I get a game all to my people that I see in person. And now we be kicking it in person. This dude got my real number. He can call me anytime. Shout out to B. I appreciate you, bro. Jonathan Barronville says, facts, Anton. One of my mentors, Christopher Lynch. You nosy folks can Google him. He's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and I met him at a random event. Y'all, my people. Jonathan, you know what's so funny? Me and Jonathan has very similar a mindset. And when I see him on the panel, it's so funny because I see a lot of my passion that I have in him. We got to smooth off the edges just of Jonathan, because Jonathan, I used to be like that. Like, Jonathan is successful, and he's so passionate about giving information and insight to people that don't necessarily want to take it. They just want to argue and dispute it. And so what Jonathan got to figure out is the difference between entertainment and value add, because you'll catch your pearls to swine and they won't take your information, and you giving out all of these gems and all of this energy to people that actually don't want to use it for their benefit. They just want to complain about it, and they're not going to actually do nothing with it. So Jonathan got to learn how to balance the entertainment aspect of going back and forth with people with the actual value add. And I've learned a long time ago how to separate the value add from the entertainment, because I'm not giving any information to people that don't value it. Jonathan, my dog. Shout out to Jonathan. I appreciate you, big dog. Also, Aaron says, and then we're going to move over into the next one. I'm going to continue to read Super Chats after this. Says, in college, I saw a woman carrying boxes. I helped her. She gave me a scholarship to do research in her lab. You never know who you will meet. And now Aaron is doing, I don't know his exact position. I don't want to say his title or the company that he works for, but he makes a lot of money in a fucking lab. All right. So shout out to you. Shout out to everybody that's very intentional in taking care of business. Let's go over into the next story. So I don't know which video I want to play first. All right. I know which video I'm going to play first. So this woman specifically dropped this video 3 years ago, right? She dropped this video 3 years ago about making $210,000 in New York City. Okay. I just seen a video probably a few days ago, in which is this video right here. She then talks about she quit her job at Google because of burnout. But before we go into her quitting her job because of burnout, I want to first play the video, and shout out to Marty Speed. I want to go over your super chat. I'm continuing to read super chats. I want to go over the video that she dropped 3 years ago about making $210,000 a year. I didn't even realize that it was the same person, but I watched this video a long time ago. But then when I seen her face saying she quit her job at Google because of burnout, and then she documented what her future endeavors was going to be, yes, that's her name. Bukola, I think her name is. Yep. So she has a YouTube channel. It is pretty popular. But I want to go over this video first, or give you the little basics. And then I want to share the video that she dropped on her channel very, very recently about why she quit her job. All right. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get into this first video. All right.
I think part of the reason why I save so much comes from what I've learned from my parents. We never took vacations. We only went to the library. That was our vacation. They were basically just very frugal, and that carried on to me. I try to be pretty frugal. Hi, my name is Bukola Ayodele. I'm 25 years old, and I make $210,000 every year and live in New York City. I'm a software engineer working in the...
Now, let me say this first and foremost. I know y'all probably gonna disagree with me. I know that y'all gonna feel a certain type of way, but listen, I just say whatever I think. But me, I like the way she looked. I think that she's sexy. I don't know. I got a thing for the chocolate ones, man. I got a thing for the chocolate ones. She may not look like much to y'all. She ain't got a BBL. She ain't got a bunch of work done and all of that. But I'm just telling you, when I see them looking like this, when they thin and they chocolate, and they can hold a conversation and they intelligent, it do something to me. When they thin and they chocolate and they can hold the conversation, I got a thing for it. It's a lot of people. I mean, let's be real. Based off of what we hear in these spaces, and people be like, yo, no, you know what a 10 is, and this is what that. I see people in the chat right now that say, heck no. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I like them like this. I like the chocolate ones. I don't want you to be earthy. But I like them when they chocolate. I like them when they thin and they chocolate and they can hold the conversation. Listen, I hear you, Classy Beats. I know it's going to be a lot of back and forth about what y'all think is hot and what y'all don't. I like them like this. This is up my alley right here. This is it for me. This is it for me. Real talk. I like them dark. I like them chocolate, and I like them able to communicate. And as long as they got white teeth, I'm in there. As long as they got white teeth, I'm in there. So I'm just going to stop there. I have not actually seen this video, but I'm in there. That's all I need. I'm a simple man. I like them a certain type of way. I got a certain type. Maybe it's just a fetish for me or whatever, so on and so forth. But that's all I need. I'm with it.
fintech space. I'm building tools and applications for engineers.
She not hot to y'all. She do a thing for me though.
So I'm actually obsessed with tracking things. Like I track my calories, I track my workouts, and I also track my money. I believe in this philosophy of what doesn't get measured doesn't get managed. So I make sure I'm tracking my money.
First thing I seen was the yellow. The first thing I seen was the yellow. This chick's, see, y'all want these chicks that's going to spend all your money. I want a chick that's going to get on the program. I don't mind spending money on you, but I want a chick that got her head on straight. Yo, she said she saved her $11,400 budget. She make $210,000 a year. She live in New York City and she saved $7,600 a month. Fuck what y'all talking about. I'm looking for a chick that know how to balance a budget. Y'all looking at, yo, you know, all of this, is she a 10 and all of this other type of shit. She just became 10 times sexier to me. I don't know. I'm a bag chaser. I think a little bit differently. I think a little bit differently. When I see this, I know a wife when I see one. I know a wife when I see one. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. I don't even need to see nothing else. She donate $800 a month. She donate $800 a month. She stacks $7,600 a month, which is the equivalent of almost $90,000 a year, right? Y'all looking at the wrong chicks, man. I know we supposed to be going over the fact of what her budget is and whether she quit her job or not. Y'all looking at the wrong women. She chocolate and she know how to balance her checkbook and she not overspending. She can have anything she want. I'm about to take her shopping. Hey, somebody tell Bukola to get in touch with Time Dog. I'm about to take her shopping. I'm about to go look. She ain't got nothing on there. All her stuff, she spent $177 in transportation, which means she probably ain't even got a car, right? Clothes, $300 a month. Food, $300 a month. Miscellaneous, $625. I'm sure what's the bottom? Housing, she spent $1,400 a month, which is way reasonable in New York City. I'm with it.
And how I track my money is I use YNAB and I also use Personal Capital. I also have spreadsheets for my long-term goals. So I just make sure that every single month I'm allocating a little bit of money to hit those long-term goals.
Me and these type of women, we build up great things.
$4,000 and my room costs about $1,400. This is actually the most I've ever spent on rent, and I was a little mad to spend this much on rent, but the area is really nice and it's even closer to work, so I kind of save time in my commute.
Now, again, I think that there's a difference between, what these guys in the chat, what they don't understand, a lot of y'all, what these guys in the chat don't understand, and this is how y'all fucking get y'all heart broken and y'all be texting me in the middle of the night, such as what y'all was doing in the beginning of the show. What these guys don't understand is that there's a difference between the wives and the hoes. I told y'all got to figure out how to, y'all trying to turn hoes into housewives. And I'm telling you that there's a difference between a wife and a hoe, and then you play your position as a man. You got to be able to separate the difference. You got to be able to align yourself with somebody that's going to allow you to run the bag up. You don't want to be in the space where you only focusing on the superficial things, because that is the thing that's going to prevent you from running the bag up. You rather get a nut off than be rich. These niggas is weak out here. You rather get a nut off than be rich. What's wrong with y'all? Man, I don't care nothing about these hoes. Listen, when you didn't had enough of them in your lifetime, you don't even value the same thing that other dudes value about women. It's probably because they ain't really getting no women, and that's why they speak on it so hard. Oh, I need that. Man, once you get past it, it's just like driving a new car. The new car smell wear off. You got one, you done drove them all. You get you a Benz, you get you a whatever it is that you're going to drive. It's just a car to me now. Now you're supposed to get that out of your system early. That's why the hoes is there, right? That's why it's hoes and wives. Once you get that out of your system early, if you get it out early enough, you can make the right decision as to whether or not you actually want to be with a wife or a hoe. Your problem is that you don't know how to separate the two. And so as a result, you keep picking hoes and then saying what's wrong with these modern women. You ain't picked a wife, my nigga. If this chick is sitting out here single, that's wild to me. If she's single, that is wild to me.
So I was born in Nigeria and I moved here when I was 6 years old. And we moved into like an inner city neighborhood when we first got here. And my parents really hustled and worked hard to get us to a better neighborhood. Growing up, my parents really valued education, and they really pushed my sister and I to pursue very traditional careers.
She enunciating all of her words correctly. Shout out to Persevere Data TV. We gonna get there, big dog. I'm reading all super chats.
In our house, we had a saying that you could either be a doctor, a lawyer, or a disgrace. I actually majored in political science in college with the hopes of becoming a lawyer, but after working in a law-related field, I realized that this was not for me. So I looked back at classes in college that I really liked, and one of the classes I really loved in college for my computer science classes.
Look how attractive that code is. I bet you that her code is all structured right. I bet you if you go into the source code of whatever it is that she got going in, it looks beautiful. When I can pull up that source code and I can see all of your stuff is beautiful and laid out correctly, and you noting it, and you got proper notes where it's supposed to be in your source code, that's sexy. You know how sexy that is? You know how sexy that is? And she's able to enunciate her words correctly? Man, that woman is... Y'all over here looking at whether or not she...
quit my job and do a sabbatical. During my time doing a sabbatical, I joined the Recurse Center. The Recurse Center is sort of like an engineering retreat.
Hey, Jonathan Barronville, no. Listen, when you pull up somebody's source code and they actually got notes, and see, because when people have notes, they're not doing it for them because they already know of exactly what it is that they put together. They're doing it for the future version of them, and then to be able to have somebody else be able to go in and look at and find exactly what they're looking for, especially if you're having a problem. Jonathan Barronville knows somebody that actually puts proper notation inside of their source code. That's sexy. That's sexy. JB, no.
And just sort of build new projects. It was totally free and it took 3 months. And then after that, 3 months later, I got a job. I got so many rejections left and right. And I just had to learn to just be a little bit more persistent.
Look at her with them glasses on.
We're getting our account balance and then we're just returning self.accounts. So it's just easy. It can be kind of a little isolating to be the only Black woman, but I really just try to connect with other Black women and people of color in the software engineering space. I've been stopped a bunch of times from entering my job because they thought I just didn't work in the building. It's just crazy that things like that happen. Tech and software engineering is a really great career path. You get to work on really amazing projects and you can earn a really good living doing this.
So I think we've seen enough. This woman is starting to become, yeah, they trying to figure out if she can twerk, JB. I'm getting to the super chat. These dudes is, oh my God. All right, let me get into the next video. So apparently she quit her job. And so I did skim through the beginning of it because I seen it on my timeline and I wanted to make sure that it was relevant to what we was talking today. I need me some intelligent women around me. Y'all, they talking about twerking. They trying to find they chicks on Miami Beach. I'm trying to figure out where's the chocolate sisters that actually know how to hold the conversation at? You know what I'm saying? All right, so she apparently quit her job, and this is 3 years later. All right, so she was saving, probably got a couple raises here and there, probably was working remote. Apparently she was saving the equivalent of about $90,000 a year, somewhere around there. So I want to deep dive into this video. Ain't picked up a pound.
Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm quitting my job. It's a little nerve-wracking, but I've wanted to do it for a while now. I actually
hold on, y'all. I know the guys is probably mad, baby girl, because you ain't got on no makeup, but it's all right. Don't worry about it. Because when these chicks that they be talking to take off their makeup, they be looking like ghouls and goblins. There'd be a whole man up under there like, Harpo, who is this nigga? All right, let's continue.
Tried to do it 6 months ago, but I was a little too scared. But now savings are good. I have a plan, so I'm gonna quit my job.
Not a woman with a plan.
With my boss. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's gonna be okay. I have my notice of resignation ready to go. So yeah, let's quit our job today. Hello. Hi, how are you?
All right, so let me fast forward past this. Apparently she had already quit her job.
It was a little awkward, but I did it. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bacola and I'm currently unemployed. Anyways, as you can see from my last video, I put in my 2 weeks notice. I quit my job at Google, and y'all, it was a very, very difficult decision to make. I felt like I was between a rock and a hard place. Like, on one end, I had a great job, great pay, great coworkers, great manager, could work remotely, even work remotely abroad. Not often, but whenever I got my
So listen, I'm not sure if this is a woman thing or a man thing, but let me finish hearing the rest of what she got to say before I criticize it.
manager's approval. Literally nothing wrong with the job, right? But on the other hand, I was getting really burnt out. Like, you guys know I had a tough 2020, lost a family member, and 2021, 2022 were super difficult because I was really working 2 jobs. Like, I had my YouTube channel that I was dedicating 20 to 40 hours a week on, and then my day job, which is...
That's why she quit. That's why she quit, because she was dedicating 20 to 40 hours a month over into her YouTube channel. And so it became too much for her, right? I haven't seen the rest of this video, but that's why I think that she quit. Because she had to make a decision of whether or not she's going to dedicate more time and energy into what it is that she's doing from her career perspective, or whether or not she's going to allocate more time into what she's doing in the content creation space. Now, I know that she got like 300 and something thousand subscribers over on YouTube, because when I looked at this video and I said, okay, let me see what she's doing on here, right? Most women cannot, most people, I'm not even going to say women, most people cannot sustain holding on to a position for an extended period of time and doing a hustle. The thing that you want to do is grow so much into what it is that you're doing in your hustle to where it becomes a sustainable business. And that way, in my opinion, you just maximize the amount of value that your time is. And the people that's a part of the bag chasers, you know what my calculation is for your time. But let me go ahead and hear what the rest of what she got to say.
Also like 40 hours a week as well. So I was putting a lot of energy into content creation, into my current job, and it was burning me out. And also with my day job, I felt like I wasn't really gaining the skill set that I wanted to gain. So as you can see, it was really difficult. And for 6 months, I went back and forth. Should I quit? Should I not quit? Like, what should I do? I truly was confused. And I will say now I'm still confused. But I was truly confused. Should I quit Google? Should I quit YouTube? Should I quit Google and YouTube and take a break? What should I do? I had no idea. After a lot of reflection, I decided I'm just gonna quit Google. And
of course,
obviously it's not an easy decision to make. I'm someone who doesn't like uncertainty. I hate taking risks, hate taking paths that are not clear cuts, as you guys can probably tell.
Which is really weird to hear this from her, because based off of the video that I seen from her on the Millennial Money, she's a person that is very, 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 very calculated. And so I would like to hear what this plan is. Before I start to comment on what it is that I think that she should have did or what I see most people do.
Not a risk taker at all, to be honest. But you know what? Life is short. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to take a risk. So I'm taking this time off. It's going to be about 6 months to a year. I will be creating content, but I'm taking it more as a sabbatical year for myself to just, focus on my wellness, do some content creation, and figure out what I want to do as my next step. And even though it's a scary decision to make, life is short. You got to take some risks in life. You got to take time to rest too. So yeah, basically, I feel like ultimately it's definitely the right decision, but I just want to tell you guys, I hope this is not tone deaf with what is happening in the industry, and I'll let you know after 6 months like what eventually I decide to do, if I decide to go back to a job or if I decide to just do content creation full time. I really still want to somehow infuse my just really gain in my technical skills. I'm planning to do so many different things. Sorry this sounds pretty rambly, but I'm planning to do so many things during my time off. Planning to travel, planning to maybe even take some college classes, obviously do content creation, rest a lot, which I really need. And yeah, that's kind of like a summary of everything I'm planning to do. But it is definitely a difficult decision, especially now with the market being very tumultuous. It's a very difficult decision to leave your job, but yeah, I decided to do it. So let's go back into the office and wrap up my last 3 days of work and my last final days at Google.
Well, obviously,
so it's officially my last week at Google. For the past couple weeks, I've been visiting other coworkers, networking with people, connecting with people before I left. And for these next 3 days, I'm going to be basically exploring the different offices. Starting first with the Hudson Yards office. I've never been to this office before. I think it's where mostly marketing people sit. And they have 3 different cafes there. So we're going to go and check it out for the first time. So let's head into the office. For my last few days, I literally had one goal. Outside of doing tasks to exit the company, my goal was to visit every cafe Google had to offer, and currently Google has over 15 cafes. Let's see if we can visit them all.
Okay, so obviously she didn't quit her. I mean, she didn't get fired. So for everybody that's in the chat, because I see what y'all saying, for everybody that's in the chat that's saying that she got fired, clearly she didn't get fired, because usually what happens with these tech companies is when you get fired, they remove all of your access. They have you in a meeting with your manager, and then you basically have to turn in your equipment. You cannot go and visit all of the different campuses afterwards, all right? So she put in her 2 weeks, and then she started exploring all of this other type of stuff. And so I'm guessing that that's what the rest of the video is. So she didn't get fired, all right? So that's first. The second thing that I want to say is, let me go back to her. The second thing that I want to say is, she has a very, very good career, all right? Because she has a good career, she doesn't move the same way that regular people move. Meaning that, let's just say, for example, you found a good job out of high school, or you got a good position or whatever, so on and so forth, and you're scared, right? You got a good job and you don't know what the certainty is of you being able to have those transferable skills over into a different position. She's not operating under duress. And because she's not operating under duress, then that means that she can take more risks, because she knows that she has that safety net of always being able to go back and get a job. Even if there's uncertainty in the market, she will always have a position. She has the resume. She probably has the projects under her belt to be able to easily get a job. And more importantly, she has visibility on the internet, which is what I utilized in order to level up in corporate America. So what she calls a sabbatical, for a lot of y'all, would be unemployment long term, and you would be regretting quitting your job. All right. Third, I don't think that there's a problem with her quitting her job because she's financially stable. She's sound. I think that experience is awesome. She also has additional income, so it's not like she's just living off her savings. Apparently, her YouTube channel is doing really, really well, which is why she's contemplating the possibility of not even going back to work. And I think that this time off is probably going to force her to make some really, really strong decisions in her life as to whether or not she want to go into content creation full time, or if she's interested into continuing to go into corporate America. Now, my final point of this is she is going to be fine, right? She's going to be successful. She's going to be fine no matter what she does. She's very smart. She's articulate. She's been able to grow a following. She knows how to market herself effectively, and she has transferable skills. So this little 6 months is not going to make a difference. I don't even think this is going to make a difference in her savings. It's not going to take a dent in her or whatever. I'd be curious to know what her investment strategy is, but that's a completely different conversation. What I think, though, with this fourth point is that very few people are able to actually manage both for a sustained amount of time. Most times people have to pick one or the other. For somebody like me that's still in corporate America, right, that's able to maintain having a position that requires a lot of your time, and doing different businesses and doing content creation at a high level, doing it more than people that don't even have a regular job, I think that that is a unique individual, and I would not ever say that that is something for a woman. I think when you find a woman like that can do both for a long time, that is a unicorn. Because most women just ain't built like men. They don't have the same stamina. They don't have the same body structure. I think that women do need rest a lot of times. And it's very hard for them to be able to have even a social life because women don't know where the balance is. Usually they go hard into all of these things. And, you know, if you're going to be successful, you got to compete against people like me. And that take a lot out of you. Somebody in the chat, Ray Meester, says YouTube is really tough. YouTube is probably the toughest thing that you guys will ever do in your entire life. Because if y'all don't catch a wave and you don't become successful right away, most of y'all going to fail and y'all going to fall off. The same way that small businesses, it's really tough to start a small business and be successful in that. The overwhelming majority of small businesses, over 80%, it's a one-person business, right? And it don't even mean that it's profitable. It just means that they filed what they state and then they went and got an EIN from the IRS, right? So I think the show will be fine. I think the show will be successful. But I always like to advocate, if you love it enough, then figure out how to do both, unless you're a person that's really responsible like her. Another thing that she has going for her is that she don't have any kids. She don't have anybody dependent on her. So she has the availability to be able to explore life, go travel, because she's only paying for one. She can mitigate her costs. She still has income coming in. And she's been very frugal and smart with her money. So kudos to her. Kudos to her. I think that, it's important for us to show successful people and break those situations down, just as important as it is for us to show the scammer, like the lady from LaSalle University the other day, that literally finessed the whole Tesla out of her part-time job while she was supposed to be an athlete. And she was trying to get up to, she had took over $500,000 in 3 weeks and was trying to get another $1 million right after that. So kudos to her. Maybe I'll try to reach out to her and have a conversation or an interview of her. I need to get outside of our this space that we've been in, and reach out to actually some other productive content creators that's not toxic. You know what I'm saying? So shout out and kudos to her. I think that she's very, very dope. She's sexy to me, and I think that she's incredible. So let me read some of these super chats, see what y'all talking about in the chat. Marty Speed said, The Godfather always pushed that your EQ is more valuable than your IQ. I've always gotten further when talking to people than behind a screen. That is absolutely correct. Shout out and rest in peace to my dog. Javors Lee says, me too, hell. You're not alone. No Michael Jackson time, dog. She's my type. Moses Props says, oh, she fine and hot. Come on over here. That door is open. Y'all ain't ready for that type of woman. She too much woman for y'all. Spacer says, bars, chocolate, smart conversationalist equals dark fire. Aaron says, she cute, but that budget pushes her to a dime piece. Facts. Moses Prop says, this is what outside black men should look for to get that body and ass stuff brother. Anton, you are on point. I'm going to come back to you, Persevere Data TV. Jonathan Barronville says, but can she twerk though, Anton? Aaron says, now I believe in marriage. Anton, prepare me. No, y'all stay away from our queens. Drew Beat says, can you recommend a good engineering field? So vast. Software engineering. I mean, any engineer is pretty dope. You could become an electrical engineer. I know some people that are civil engineers. Shout out to my dogs out there that's civil engineers. I know some electrical engineers. Software engineers are the most productive to me, but I think that anything that you do in I even know some mechanical engineers. Anything you do in an engineering field, you would always have a position and you'll always make money. All right. It just depends on whether or not you want to be tied to a physical product or you want to be able to, move around a little bit easier. So I like software engineering specifically. Moses Prop says, LOL, brother Anton, I need a coaching call as well. I came a long way, brother. Send me an email, antondaniels413@gmail.com, and we're going to get it popping, my friend. Aaron says, no makeup makes her look better. I see the real her. Spaces says, most girls out here talking about bundles, bags, and BBLs. She's talking about spreadsheet savings and software. Most of you 304s could never. #wifey. Aaron says, I could take her to every work event and she could network effectively. True. Absolutely true. I can take her to IEEE or NSBE events and she'd fit right in. I'm sold. You ain't ready for her. You ain't even trying to get married. Brock says, pass a love offering. I love the chat, bruh. Let me give a shout out to a couple more people, including Persevere Data TV, Thinking Man, and Chelsea's Live Line. Persevere Data TV says, man, book y'all coaching calls. That's all I say. Shh. I'm already overwhelmed. My schedule is slammed. So anybody that I get into my coaching sessions at this point, you got to be ready to work. You got to be ready to work. I'm not going to let you take away time from the people that's actually trying to work. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to Persevere Data TV with the 100 ball. I appreciate you, big dog. Let me go into a few more of these super chats. He also says, fellas, if her plant's alive, that's a good sign. Shout out to my dog, Thinking Man says, thanks, bro. Thinking Man, I love you, bro. I done had so many conversations offline with Thinking Man on the phone. Shout out to you. Hey, Thinking Man, we've worked with Thinking Man, and I've seen his transition. I've seen his change. Thinking Man has transitioned over from the trucking industry into tech. I'm not going to say exactly what his position is, but he said, he hit me up the other day and he said, yo, Anton, I'm doing really, really well. Thanks, my friend. I'm going to keep in touch and keep you up to date on what's going on. So Thinking Man is winning. Shout out to my Patreon members. Shout out to my bag chasers. Thinking Man is actually is one of my seat at the table members. Thinking Man is actually one of my seat at the table members. All right? They try to stay out the way, but I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit, Thinking Man. Chelsea's live line says, salute as always, Anton. See you this week. Chelsea's live line will be on the Anton Daniels channel. I'm gonna be promoting that a lot heavier. Somebody they said I need to be going a lot harder, so I'm gonna do that. Miss Maria Mendoza, shout out to my baby girl, says, hey Anton, loving the content and looking forward to our next coaching call. I want to pick your brain on purchasing existing businesses. Oh, I know all about that. I know I can give you some game on purchasing existing businesses and becoming a silent partner in businesses that you don't necessarily run yourself, but you see as a potential profit making or profit generating revenue. You know, I want to run that bag up on that side. Shout out to Aaron, says, I changed my mind. I'm ready. Nope. You can't have her. Shout out to all of my people. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Another one in the books. Hopefully y'all continue to find value in having these Millionaire Morning shows and these conversations. It's fun. It's entertaining. I love interacting with y'all. I appreciate all of the super chats. But more importantly, we got to get the medicine inside of the candy. I love y'all. Y'all are the greatest people on earth. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But last but not least, I need y'all to do me one more thing before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful and rich by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, every single Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. or 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we run the Millionaire Morning Show back to back. Make sure you share this with your family and friends because we don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.